So I wanted to speak this evening about the current masking regulations for students. The first question one has to ask in regards to such a policy is, does it work? Does masking in fact prevent the spread of COVID? The CDC cites over 50 studies in support of masking. However, all these studies suffer from either having no control group or confounding factors. There is, however, a double-blind study that came out of Denmark, which concluded that masks do not make a difference in the spread of disease. Also, a 2019 World Health Organization review of numerous studies testing the efficacy of face coverings to stop the flu found, quote, no evidence that wearing a mask is effective in reducing transmission of the virus. Another salient question is COVID dangerous to children? According to the OHA, of an Oregon population aged 19 and younger, 0.0005% have died with COVID. According to researchers at Johns Hopkins, no healthy child has died from COVID, only the severely ill, most of which are not even able to attend school. Additionally, British professor Robert Dingwall, who is part of the New and Emerging Respiratory Virus Threats Advisory Group, says that kids are more likely to be struck by lightning than they are to die from COVID. Studies have also shown that kids are not likely to spread COVID. Kids are not at risk from COVID, but they are from masking. I would like to share a quote from an article written by Tammy Clark, OSHA Environmental Health and Safety Professional, and Kristen Megan, Senior Industrial Hygienist. When doctors like Fauci come on the news and they talk about masking, they are speaking outside of their expertise. They are not mask experts. These ladies are. Quote, facial coverings are of particular concern for children for a variety of reasons. Covering anyone's mouth and nose, restricting proper gaseous exchanges, without following the strict protocols of the current OSHA standards is absolutely illegal and dangerous. When it comes to applying a blanket, one-size-fits-all face covering mandate on children, this should be considered criminal. It is nothing less than child abuse to restrict a child's normal breath, causing many well-known medical issues such as hypoxia, hypercapnia, headache, fatigue, irritability, difficulty focusing, increased infection rates due to bacterial infection in the mouth and on the skin, increased infection rates due to trapped and rebreathing of waste gases and increased viral load, and many, many more known documented health hazards of prolonged mask wearing, unquote. Moreover, as Clark and Megan point out, the recent stay of OSHA's emergency temporary standard by a federal court applies to the entire country. Quote, no employer in the United States is legally able to cite OSHA's recent ETS as justification for forced vaccination, testing, or mandating face coverings in the workplace. Neither is any individual state OSHA agency. Legally, no individual state may create a standard where no federal standard exists. So no state within the United States may legally create a COVID-19 standard with any mandates regarding vaccines, facial coverings, social distancing, etc. Enforcing a mask mandate will put our school district at greater risk for liability, not less. Not only in regards to the lack of a federal ETS, but I believe that the district is opening themselves up to future lawsuits pertaining to the dangerous effects of masking kids. There is in fact an OSHA standard that requires a rigorous personal risk assessment test before anyone can don PPE, masks or PPE. What student has had that risk assessment test done? In summary, mandatory masking is not effective at stopping COVID. COVID is not dangerous for kids. Mandatory masking puts kids' health at risk. Mandatory masking is illegal. You may feel that a decision from you to allow children to unmask will be unpopular. I'll tell you what's unpopular. Kate Brown's unpopular. Brown recently polled as the most hated governor in the union. In pictures that went viral last week, as you can see from my visual aid, Brown is seen at a gala in D.C. completely maskless. That there is no indoor mask mandate in D.C. is irrelevant. Brown clearly does not act like she thinks it is necessary to mask indoors. In fact, the governor's office has yet to produce a single picture of her masked at this event. There is one kind of in the middle on the top there. That's taken from October in Oregon. That's in Oregon, inside. Does Brown look like she fears the illness that she is telling us all to be very, very afraid of? Over the last year and a half, the governor's office has claimed extraordinary power over the smallest details of our lives. They have done so under the guise of public welfare. German MP Christine Anderson recently stated, quote, the welfare of humanity has always been the alibi of tyrants. And that is undoubtedly true in this case. Governments which seize power in this matter have never given back power of their own accord. This will not end until we say, no, thank you. As Thomas Jefferson said, there is no justification for taking away individuals' freedom in the guise of public safety. Please do what we all know to be right, but which most school boards lack the courage to do. Please stand up for students' freedom and stop enforced and harmful.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Jonathan.